as we go through life, as we change, we have to focus on the moment that we're in, the chapter of the book that we're in, not the past chapters, not the chapters that are coming up, the chapter that we're currently reading, right? And the reason I say this is because it's applying it to how you used to see yourself versus how you currently see yourself or how you should be seeing yourself. It's establishing that you have some type of control in the moment, in the day. You have decisions that you can make that will impact how the rest of that day goes, how your interactions with others go, how business dealings go, how your health goes, how your relationships with your kids and your wife or your spouse go.
We believe that you are strong by design, and you were made in God's image to have a strong body, mind, and spirit. You're listening to the #1 Strength and Health Authority podcast in the world. So let's get ready to unlock your potential and transform your life in today's episode.
Hello there. Welcome to another episode here on the Strong by Design podcast show. Your host of today's episode, Coach Chris Wilson, and really super excited, extra special excited for the topic at hand today. Are you a victim? And we're going to dive into what I mean by that and how powerful of a lesson this is that has been for me over the years, and I continue to spend time thinking about and listening to other experts about this particular topic because I'm really intrigued by it, and I think it could be a really helpful conversation for you, as it hopefully as it was for me, and continues to be an ongoing conversation. So before I get to the material today, first I want to thank you, listener. If you're a new listener, thank you for finding the Strong by Design podcast. We have 226 previous episodes for you to go back and listen to, and we hope that you do, because we have touched on just about any topic possible. But we continue to tackle issues of all kinds, right? Body, mind, spirit, anything that's current. Anything that's in the past, relationships. I mean, coaching, entrepreneurship, faith. We're all over the place because it's all of these things in our life that help us live a life that's strong by design. How we deal with these things, how we pursue things, right? And so I want to just say thank you so much for listening to our show. If you're a return listener, then you know what's going on here. I'm going to be talking with you today, just solo, just me. Again, this is a very powerful topic and one that I feel very comfortable talking about because of all the lessons and things that I've learned over the last decade in particular about this particular topic of conversation. So what I want to do something a little different than I haven't done, if ever, on the podcast is just read a few reviews. We've had a lot of ratings and reviews over the years, and I don't think, if I think back, it's been a lot of years now, have I ever read reviews on a podcast? I don't think I have, but I think we should start doing it because that might lead to more, and reviews are a good thing. It means we're doing something right. Now, honestly, we like to read these because sometimes we get great ideas from someone or we're inspired by someone else's journey. So please share with us your thoughts and feelings about this show or a particular episode or a particular guest we had or a topic that you would like to hear us talk about. We would love to hear from you on any platform that you listen, especially though on Apple Podcasts and iTunes, because that particular platform is the one that we kind of focus in on. And that one really, I think, is what kind of drives our success in the rankings and things. So I'm going to read a couple. Earlier this year from Kimmy Wizzy. Loved your interview with the Educated Dieter. That's our good friend Will Grazione, the Educated Dieter. He's an amazing guy, father, husband, and just he knows so much. He's so wise to the human body, to getting into tip-top shape, to nutrition, to the science behind how the body works and functions. So just a great conversation from earlier this year. And she just wrote, loved your interview with the Educated Dieter. Really good content. Appreciate that, Kimmy Wizzy. And she wrote, great show, gave us 5 stars. Goofball2225, also a 5-star review, wrote, thanks, Mike and Chris. You guys rock, always providing great information and keeping things real. Joel. I think I know who that might be. An old friend of Mike's or is actually a husband of an old friend of ours from growing up that started listening to our podcast. So Joel, awesome. Thank you so much for listening to our show. We will continue to make great episodes for you. And then here's another one. JJC Castaneda. Great. It's a 5-star. It says overcoming adversity. Great podcast, deep and down to earth advice and powerful stories of both struggle and success. And that is true. We love having conversations with people and finding out what their story is. I think in the human experience, storytelling is number one. It's at the top when it comes to how we relate to each other, how we learn from each other. And so I love when people share their story, their personal story, their journey in life, the things that were terribly challenging for them or absolutely where they were, triumphant in something. It's really, really fun. And I try to focus on that a lot in the beginning. If you listen to past episodes where I've hosted, where I personally want to get to know the people that I'm talking with, get to know their history, their childhood, maybe their earlier experiences prior to whatever success that they're currently having. It's really cool because we all have our own story to share. So just wanted to touch on a few of those reviews really quickly before we get into the material today. And so, are you a victim? Are you a victim in life? Are you a victim in your marriage, in your relationships? Are you a victim at work? The victim mindset can be a real killer. But I think a lot of times people just don't understand, what it really looks like or the damage that it's causing. And so I wanted to take a moment and share with you my history, recent history, I would say, because I don't think I gave this much thought or consideration up until about 2013, 2014, when I really started being around big thinkers and more mentors. I was around some great people in my 15 plus years of training clients and running fitness and health facilities and stuff, but I didn't really start giving it as much thought maybe until it was just a point in my life in terms of age and maturity where you kind of start thinking more about those things. So those two kind of maybe came together in my early mid 30s. I'm in my middle 40s now, 40s. I'm going to hold on to mid 40s as long as I can. I'm 46, but it's still middle 40s, right? And so I think maybe it's just, with age does come some level of wisdom and maturity. So thank God I've finally matured a little bit. So that's always a good thing. So I do reflect a lot on things in my life that I struggle with or things I could do better and like to do a lot more listening. Even though I talk a lot for a living, I do like to do a lot more listening in my life with, the audiobooks and podcasts and speakers and there's so much goodness out there, but a lot of us get stuck on all the crap and all the negative stuff getting, poured down our throats, whether we're turning on the TV or we're looking at social media. There's a lot of crap. And so today I want to kind of cut through some of that crap and talk about some good stuff and ways to navigate through it. So number one, holding yourself accountable in life, I've talked about it in past episodes, is a big, big deal that we have some control. We have to be accountable to ourselves and to other people. And that's anything but having a victim mindset, is when you say you're going to do something and you stick to it, you hold yourself accountable. Other people see that and just there's a respect thing that you just kind of level up in other people's eyes. But really, it's all about what you think of yourself, right? You tell yourself you're going to do something and then you do it. It's just like a little win subconsciously. And the more you do that and the more you pile those up, it's just you have more of a winner's mindset than a loser's mindset or a victim's mindset. So having people that you trust as well that hold you accountable. And I'm not going to say that that's just friends, right? Sometimes it's not just friends that we need to lean on for accountability. Oftentimes it's somebody that's maybe not so much a friend. It's somebody that we know, but it's somebody that we respect. And maybe there's not that intimate relationship there, which can sometimes cloud the ability to be held accountable by somebody. I think sometimes when you have that mentor or coach and you see them as that, they're on maybe like just a different level than you, a slightly higher tier, and that's why you're going to them for mentorship and coaching. For them to hold you accountable, that helps you raise your standard, right? Rather than just always, relying on the people at your level, your friends, maybe longtime friends, and maybe they're dealing with their own crap. So it's good to go to somebody that's maybe just, maybe a little bit older, a little bit, wiser. They've made those mistakes already, and they can, help you not make them. So that's something to be looking for in mentorship or coaching. Okay. Ultimately, I think what's a very helpful thing and healthy thing is to get over yourself and your past. And I'm not saying to forget your past, but to be able to forgive yourself for your past and not just be living with heavy regret on your heart. I think that could be extremely painful and taxing and can really rob you of living and enjoying the moment, enjoying life when you're just constantly stuck on your past and your past failings. So it's kind of the words like, I've never been good at this thing, or I've always been late. I've never been able to gain muscle. I've always hated I've always been a bad reader. It's kind of like it's the adjectives. It's the words that we're using, right? So a lot of times too, it's like people will say the maybes and the I'll tries rather than the I cans, I wills, I must. And digging even a little deeper, and we've talked about this, I know, several times on the podcast, is about finding what your why is when you make something important in your life for change, typically, right? So if everything's fine and whatever, then no one feels a pull to improve, right? If everything's just going your way, I guess. But typically in life, everything's not going just fine. And we have areas of struggle and we have things that we would like to improve or fix in our life, right? And we need to be able to attach a strong and powerful why to change. Why do you want to lose weight? How much weight exactly do you want to lose and why? And get to a deeper why, not just because I just want to look better. Do you want to lose weight because it would help you be healthier, and in being healthier, you'll live longer, and by living longer, you will be able to see your children grow older and maybe have kids of their own, and so kind of keep going down that road of why as far as you possibly can until you get to the point where you're like, wow, that one thing is so important to me because it gives me all of this. And so be very clear on that. I do have a tendency to write down and create a lot of bullet points for myself because there's so much that I want to say sometimes, and it's hard when it's just like off the cuff, just to come up with all this stuff. So I think this is very, very important. As we go through life, as we change, we have to focus on the moment that we're in, the chapter of the book that we're in. Not the past chapters, not the chapters that are coming up. The chapter that we're currently reading, right? So and the reason I say this is because it's applying it to how you used to see yourself versus how you currently see yourself or how you should be seeing yourself. It's establishing that you have some type of control in the moment, in the day. You have decisions that you can make that will impact how the rest of that day goes, how your interactions with others go, how, business dealings go, how your health goes, how your relationships with your kids and your wife or your spouse go, right? Like you have to separate yourself from whatever the crap from the past, the things that you failed at, that you were not good at and struggled in, and start to talk and see yourself in a new way. I mean, that's how we change. It's a belief in ourselves. It all starts between the ears, folks. It all starts between the ears. I talk about this all the time I coach baseball. I've been coaching my son's baseball for years and years. I absolutely love it. Any parent that I've ever coached their kid knows that I'm very passionate. I'm the loudest coach on the field most times. I don't ever shut my mouth. I typically don't have much of a good voice the following day after a game, but it all comes from a place of passion, enthusiasm, and a desire, a very strong desire to see these young boys play their very best and not make the same mistakes over and over again. And I know it's just baseball, it's just a sports analogy, but it applies to life, okay? So your actions today dictate who you are, who you're becoming, okay? Not your past. That brings me to the next part. Dealing with uncomfortable moments in life, which help us change. We have to go through them, okay? If everything was just fine all the time, what's going to encourage us for change, right? What's going to, there's no the path to success is not just a long, flat, perfect road, right? It's a zigzag. It's mountains and valleys and lots of things to trip you up along the way. That's just life, okay? But there's going to be moments in your life where you're uncomfortable and have to be able to deal with those uncomfortable moments. Having those hard talks with people that you should probably be listening to, even when you don't want to have those hard talks. Okay, it's healthy. This is how we grow. This is how we get better. These are necessary confrontations, whether that's at the workplace, with our boss, with our supervisor, with our coworker, at home, with our spouse. That's probably the area where I struggle most is, I love my wife so much, and I know she feels the same for me. But we're in this season of, with young children, a 10-year-old son and almost 7-year-old daughter. And this is a very, it's a challenging point to be in a relationship, to be parents, but we're both in it for all the right reasons, right? We want to stay together. We want to be there for our children. We love our family more than anything, right? But it's hard. It's very hard. And sometimes those hard conversations that need to come out, you'll hold back from having them just because you're like, it's just one more tough conversation to have after 9 o'clock at night once the kids are asleep. And I don't know that I have the energy for it right now. And I've been that guy so many times. And you just got to do it, though, because what are you going to do? Just not have that conversation ever? And I know my wife feels the very same way. And you have to be willing to go there, even if it's uncomfortable in the moment. You have to get things out in the open and air things out. And I need to do a better job of it. I would say I give myself probably like a D in that area. Definitely working on that. I think I'm much better in the workplace at having those difficult conversations. And, but I definitely can do better personally when I'm at home. So, what are some simple strategies? I've talked about a lot of things here, okay? I've given you a lot of things to think about, okay, from personal experience. what are some simple strategies, some tools that I can provide for you right now to help you get out of the victim mindset, to help you start to, live with this improved sense of yourself, using the right words, this better belief system in yourself, the I can, I must, I will type thoughts, not the I suck, I stink, I never did, I never could. These are victim-like thoughts, and we need to escape from those, and we need to correct ourselves when we go there, because trust me, we all go there. Anyone who seems like they've conquered the world still goes there mentally. They just have set up a lot of good cues and things in their life to correct them, like autocorrect, okay? So I want to just share with you some of the things that I thought were pretty important, okay? Write things down, okay? I think it's so encouraging. I mean, I know it was huge for me last year when I lost 25 pounds mostly of fat that I did not need on my body. Okay. A few pounds have come back, but I learned so much because all I did was track and log what I was doing. And it really came down to food. I've always been a guy who works out and loves exercise and being strong and stuff. So that's easy for me. That's been my life for better part of 35 years. It was the food. I overeat, even healthy foods. I just have a huge appetite, and that was my killer. It was just overconsumption of calories and not knowing how many calories are in my food. So what did I do to fix that problem? I logged it. I wrote it down. I could see with my own eyes exactly what was going in my body, give or take a few calories, and make better decisions. You can do the same thing with this victim mindset issue here, is write down things that maybe you need, maybe words from somebody that really lifts you up, like an Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, right? Or a Les Brown, right? Or a Tony Robbins, or one of my favorites who wrote Kingdom Man, Tony Evans, my man Frank Turek, who I absolutely love. Just so many. And I could go on and on and on. The list is lengthy with people like this, but people that really can kind of just change your whole mood, your whole perception, your whole view in just a few sentences. I know for me, those men do that. And I'm just like super inspired and like ready to like throw away all that victim mindset crap as soon as I hear, what these men have to say. So that's a huge part of it too. I just kind of paired that with my writing things down, okay? But put these little quotes or little sayings in maybe key locations, Post-it notes or something in your car, something at your desk. Print it out on your computer and post it on your door that you walk past every day. Anything like that can help. It's little tweaks like this that can really move the needle for us, okay? Another thing would be having a trusted mentor and not necessarily a friend, as I alluded to earlier in this podcast. Somebody that you trust, that you know is looking out for you, looking out for your best interests. And just because somebody knows you really well doesn't necessarily mean they know what's best for you. Meaning that it needs to be somebody that's maybe, again, on that next level that you're trying to get to, or maybe a couple levels ahead, okay? Just like if you're trying to get better at sports, usually you don't play with people that are only as good as you or worse than you. You try to level up. You try to play with people that are kicking your butt and find out how they're doing it. And that gets you better. And that makes you a better athlete, okay? So same thing with mentorship, coaching, things like that. Look for those experienced, wise people, men or women, that you can pick up a lot from, and surround yourself with them. Pay for coaching if you need to help get that stinking thinking out of your head and start focusing on a winner's mindset, okay? Self-talk, again, it's come up a little bit as I've been going through this, but the words that we use inside, our internal language with ourselves, you need to begin tweaking that, teaching yourself, training yourself to use different words, different language. Not like stupid idiot, but more like, hey, whatever. Let me give myself grace for that. I know I can do better. Something like just as simple as that. I do this all the time. Okay, listen, I told you I'm very passionate when I coach 10-year-old baseball. Very passionate, almost to a fault. Not every game, but several games, right? I want what's best for these boys, and I can see the play before it happens, right? And I can see the mistakes, and so sometimes I let my enthusiasm and my passion just get the best of me, and I'm just too much. I'm too over the top, and my wife will be like, "Honey, like that was too much." Like, I'm not using foul language. I'm just way too emotional and way too excited. It just gets the best of me. So I need other people around me to talk me down from that ledge, right? But what you tell yourself repeatedly in your own brain, you will eventually believe. If you tell yourself, I suck, I stink, I'm not good enough, no way I can do this, that's going to become your reality. If there's nothing else you get out of this podcast, you need to focus right here. Get rid of those words. Use new language. You got to support yourself. You got to be your own best friend. Your thought in your head needs to be, I can do this. I'll do it better next time. Not a big deal. I can get past this. I will. I must. I can. Those are the words. That's the type of language we need. We can't call ourselves names. We got to build ourselves up. Okay. Lastly, start your day and end your day in gratitude. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. It's kind of like a Gary Vee thing, but he wasn't the first guy to come up with this, okay? Gratitudes existed long before Gary Vee, but he does talk about it a lot, and I believe, I hear him when he says it, and I'm 100% on board with it, even though he drops a lot of F-bombs when he talks about it. But I tell myself lots of good things in the beginning of my day. I try to fill myself with music that's uplifting, words that are inspiring, podcasts, audiobooks, things like that at the start of my day, prayer on my knees. But I think one of the biggest things is it really helps with sleeping. People struggle with sleep, and they struggle with having a good night's sleep and being able to unplug and just have a restful night of sleep. And I'll tell you, the thing that's worked for me for a very long time, I think I've always been a pretty good sleeper, a pretty heavy sleeper, but I fall asleep very quickly. Within minutes, I lay down and I am out. And I know this because I've been wearing a smartwatch for years, and I know what time I lay down. And that thing is like within minutes of me laying down, I am asleep. And you know why? It's because I count my blessings and I thank God for all of the amazing people in my life. Now I'm going to get all emotional. I thank God for all the amazing people that I am blessed to have in my life, for the people that I've lost in my life that are waiting for me, for my children, for my wife, for my life. And when you're grateful for all that you've been given, for all that you have, it washes away the crap very, very quickly. And that's how I fall asleep. After I say how grateful and thankful I am, I recite some scripture in my head that I love, that is in my heart, and I'm asleep. And it's a great, very restful, peaceful night's sleep. I don't wake up with thinking about stuff. I allow myself to disconnect and unplug, because so many of us cannot. We go to sleep with anxiety and stress, and it's not worth it. You cannot do anything when you're horizontal. And I'm not trying to be funny. When you're trying to sleep, you need sleep. That's it. We're designed for rest. We need to rest, okay, if we want the most out of our bodies every day. So I'm going to leave you with that message of gratitude. Be grateful before you go to bed, and be grateful when you wake up and put 2 feet on the ground and you have another day to live this life and to affect the people in your life. Okay? So those are my words of wisdom for overcoming the victim mindset. I hope that something that I said today touched you and will help move you in a better direction. These are things that work for me, and I know they can work for you as well. Coach Chris, I really enjoyed this conversation. I told you I was just super excited about it, and it's been really terrific. I love doing this. I love helping people. I love encouraging people. It's why I'm on this planet, I think. That's why I exist. And it's very powerful to be able to live your purpose. And I hope you find that in your life. I thank you for listening to our show. We have another episode that drops next Wednesday, as always, here on Strong by Design. Coach Chris, I love you. Leave a rating and a review anywhere where you listen to this podcast. I'd be grateful for it. And I will be reading more of these in the coming episodes. God bless. Take care.
Thank you so much for listening to the Strong by Design podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe so that more people can find out about our show. Plus, you don't want to miss any future episodes with the amazing guests and topics we have lined up for you.